IQ article for the Manila Times, which is not surprisingly. These guys are like below the minimum requirement for intelligence anyway. And they wrote an article today called Japan's Willingness to be U.S. Pawn Deplorable. And I don't know if they understand what deplorable is, what kind of action it is, but they made an argument that Japan just does whatever America tells them to. But when you get into it, you can actually see what makes them angry, right? And let's see, where was it? Anyway, to confront China, Japanese and U.S. governments have acted in collusion with each other. And this is what makes Manila Times mad, that anybody would have the audacity to confront China. That's what this whole article is about, right? We all know that Manila Times just loves China. They think China is perfect in every way because they literally wrote that in a previous article. But the reason why Japan is trying to contradict what China's doing, other than China flying ships into Canada territory, messing with America, they've literally tried to bring down foreign ships that are in Australia, including some of their aircraft, where they thought they could just fly over, shoot flares or shafts, the little metal pieces, right? And it gets caught in the turbines. They literally put everybody at risk. Japan and America have the same common philosophy about the whole entire area. It needs to be free. Japan ain't doing this to Philippines. Japan's not in the Philippine waters. Why is it that the Manila Times goes out of their way to write such stupid articles, right? Even this year, right, the Diet adapted a so-called human rights resolution targeting China. That's what they're mad about. They don't like human rights. Never once has Manila Times ever talked about human rights. They just don't like it when somebody contradicts China. And when you sit there and you write pro-Chinese articles, this is what happens. Philippines protest a swarm of 100 Chinese vessels. But who did Manila Times write about? Again? No, they wrote about America and Japan. America and Japan ain't in Philippine waters. How is it the Chinese are the problem here, the Chinese government, but they won't talk about that? Instead, they're mad that Japan is taking America's side, and how dare they press human rights, and how dare they have some kind of decency. Why can't they just let China do what they want? That is literally Manila Times thinking. I don't even know why they called Manila Times. It should be called Chinese Times, right? And yeah, this is what happens when you take money from China. This is what happens when you're pro-Chinese. They come and they take your territory. They bully you. Then they sit there and say, well, we should talk about it, and we should have some kind of bilateral, talks, and, we should talk about whose property. No, that's Philippines' property you're on. There is no talk. And for them to do kind of stuff like this, and for Manila Times to even write an angry article about how Japan has the audacity to even stand up for Taiwan or interfere with what they consider Chinese problems, right? Japan has always been one of the main bases of separatist forces such as independence and Tibet independence. How dare they do that? How dare they? So yeah, once again, Manila Times has wrote a very stupid argument, a very stupid thing. And matter of fact, the whole article, the only thing deplorable is the Manila Times not standing up for the Philippine people. Once again, they stood up for the Chinese people, because Manila Times, you're deplorable. You're kind of ignorant.